This is not good at all.
Hands on top. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to do that at all, but you'll have that on these here big jobs. Got the treasure.
Yep. What is the treasure, Sean?
I didn't know I thought we just were gonna cut it at that. All right, what did I go to the ends of earth to find? Well, this here nice Canton front sump oil pan for our 2011 to 2020 Coyote 5.0. You know, this is what the doctor ordered. This is what I was so confused about. I didn't know what we were gonna do. It came pretty evident that we needed a front sump pan, especially once you'll see what happened prior to this. We tried to put the engine in, and we're gonna say it went horribly. Just because, you know, as you expect with a new engine in an old vehicle, it just won't work the way you ever want it to. And we thought it was gonna be good, even if I measured everything. I thought we could mount it up high enough, but I really didn't account for the transmission being up high too. So, as you'll see, I had to cut out the transmission tunnel when we really didn't have to. We just did it to make it easier, basically to see where it was gonna sit if we didn't get a front sump pan. But there's no way we could have made it.
Now
absolutely no way.
It should slide in real easy now.
Well, we're gonna hope it slides in real easy. I kind of cut some stuff and that I didn't want to cut, but right now it's gonna go in about half the time, and way easier than it was before, and we can actually start to make the mounting plates for the chassis rather than what we couldn't really even see it before. But before that, even I'm gonna do a lot of research, see how we need to put this sucker on the engine. Actually, there's a lot of information out there. I have brand new gaskets for it. I just am not sure if you used a windage tray, the stock one, or they say this is a windage tray right here, but you can take it out. So I don't know exactly if you keep one and take the other one out, keep both of them, and then we also got to modify a couple things to make it work in the engine. We're gonna pretty much, we're gonna learn as we go, just like with everything. We're gonna see if this is the same way you put an oil pan on any other old engine, or if this is something new and blue for all of us. But I've got complete confidence. What do you think of all these signs?
You know, this place looks a lot better. And then Sean.
Forgot. While y'all were gone, I took off the old oil pan. That sucker's a front sump. I mean rear sump.
There's the underside of Coyote.
Looks real nice, Clark. Ooh, look at that generous bead of silicone. We're gonna have to get that out of there. You wonder what your job is? You gotta get all this.
Sit and film.
No. Scrape gaskets. I'm gonna pick up.
Why?
What size is that, Sean?
You need as you can see, you need a 17 millimeter. Okay, so that is a coupler bolt, and then so that means I gotta take off the next one down, and I gotta exchange that one that has the stud, and I gotta put it over here so we can put our oil pan pickup right there. It's another long one. This is the same as that, but that has a stud on it, and that goes over here. And I gotta rescrew that in. We're gonna have to look up torque specs, pork specs, and we're gonna have to actually torque something. First time ever on the channel.
Usually you just muscle it.
Usually we just give it a Wu-Tang war whistle and let her eat. By technicality, we could just send it and probably be alright. But I ain't gonna send it because we won't be alright with our luck. With the non-stud, where the stud was at. Because we're all studs on this channel. And all you death trap drivers are studs. What are you doing?
Well, I don't have my sunglasses on me today.
Well, now you're gonna go stare at the sun. Alright, what are you doing here?
Right now I'm cutting this so the engine fits just a little bit better. Because the exhaust is kind of big, so we need a little bit more room right there. Plus, I think we're mounting right here, right?
Yep, that's where we're putting our engine mounts.
Yep. So we're gonna be needing a little bit more space right here on top. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it to both sides.
We're just gonna clean up those right there so we don't cut anything up. The oil pan is supposed to set right there, Mr. Welder.
Update time.
Update time.
I got all of these cut. If it focuses, they are cut, and then those are all cleaned up on the cross member. And then Sean, what's going on?
Well, I got the stud in. I got the spacer in. These are in. The main cap bolts, I've looked a couple different spots and it said 75 foot-pounds. Then I got these torqued too, those are 38. Now I'm just getting this tube to line up with the spacer without it going to cross thread and not be right like everything else. Getting closer and closer. I didn't see any torque specs on this little dude. I'm sure if I had a manual on it. LMR has a fantastic array of different torque specs on their website. Late model restoration for used people that don't abbreviate or whatever. So check them out for any torque specs you ever need. That's how that's gonna sit. Now next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna modify that windage tray with my DeWalt multi-tool fin tool. I'm gonna cut it out so I can fit this guy in. I'm still kind of confused on what we're gonna do about gasket material. I read a couple spots where you can reuse that Ford gasket on the windage tray, and I've also read a couple spots that you can't. I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. If you splooge enough silicone on anything, it'll seal.
If you ever want to see what it looks like when you put a dipstick in, that's what it looks like.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
All the way over here.
Yep. You can see put a lot in the corner as well. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to all the way along the engine.
I'm not out here trying to replace the oil pan. Really? Those little titties in the way. Nope, you gotta cut that back one too. Alright, if you're gonna install this front sump in it, you're gonna have to notch these back here and notch back there on the windage tray. Right now, I'm kind of worried we're gonna leak like a mother trucker because of all the modifications I just had to do to it. All the little specks of plastic. It might be okay. We're gonna hope we were generous enough that it don't leak. So we're using this little M12 Milwaukee because it won't produce enough torque to tighten any of these all the way where they need to be. Then I'll go around with the torque thing and torque these up.
Torque thing.
That's a technical term. We got a pretty good amount of goo coming out of all of them, which is
yeah, that's good.
Oil pan's on. So basically, I can't get a torque wrench on those spots where the T-sump are at. So I kind of Armstronged the whole thing and felt it out. I think it was about, I'd say about 65 foot-pounds if I was gonna guess.
Technical terms right here.
Technical terms, 65 foot-pounds from these old biceps, you know what I'm saying? No, anyway, it's on. I don't know exactly what it is. They're not crazy tight. You could probably still get them off with an impact, which is how they came off originally. I got them all off with that little dude. They're all to about that point. The only part, I'm kind of worried about the whole 9 yards because we had to trim it right there at the end. Got a little bit of the little black specks in some of the RTV sealer. It should be all right. I'm thinking that's all we're gonna do for tonight because it's kind of getting dark out and the main work is done today, and we'll hit the big objective tomorrow unless Alex decides different. So we're ready to basically stick it in the car and see where it lands. It'll dry over time, and the RTV will do its job and hopefully seal the whole thing along with the original gasket that was on the windage tray. A whole bunch of people said it was reusable, so if it's not reusable, shucks to them, and we're gonna hunt those people down and murder them. Doubtful enough, it did look reusable. It looked in very good shape. It looked the same as what we got. The new one didn't come with a windage tray, so I don't even know how we would make that work. You're supposed to keep the OG windage tray. Hopefully everything is sitting exactly where it's supposed to. When we first fire it up, we're gonna be for sure spotting the oil pressure and making sure that it is good. That'll be the main thing when we turn this puppy on. Make sure that right there, make sure that's all happy doodah. If it's not happy doodah, we know no bueno.
See you tomorrow.
Bye,
yeah,
y'all.
We'll see you tomorrow when we put this thing in.
Perfect. Just like we said, we're here the next night. It's supposed to be day, but night now. So, all we're gonna do this evening to finish art history month.
This is art.
This is art. That's art.
Definitely.
All art. To finish out this art this evening / part, all we're gonna do is set it in there, take a very quick gander, not very quick, a nice head scratching gander to make everything kind of sits where we want it to. After that nice long gander, we are gonna pretty much pack up, go home, and regroup for next week, and I'll have a whole list of stuff we're gonna do. Basically, you'll watch us do a little time lapse right now.
So give me something new. I feel it flashing in my mind for the night of time. I wanna fall into you. So are you ready? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it?
I got hit by a door, so I'm gonna wear
the
these.
Coyote kind of bit ya.
Yeah, it scratched me.
So yeah.
Well, after a lot of yelling and cussing, and well, not really cussing, just wondering what is going on, we kind of have it in a position where we kind of like it. I don't know if I like it per se, because if you look inside the car, the trans is sitting extremely high off the...
Show us.
It's extremely high right now. It's basically the floor's holding it at the angle it's at. And that's the angle it's going to have to really kind of...
And the reason being that is because Mustangs...
Well, first of all, they have independent front suspension. Well, this is basically independent too, but it doesn't have this giant freaking cross member or all this giant steering box and everything. The Mustang is all...
Yeah.
It's built around the engine.
we're building the car, or we're building the engine for the car, you know, I don't know. The Mustang is manufactured for a Coyote. This is not. So obviously you're gonna run into everything that's gonna trouble you. What's really holding us up is we're at its widest point right now where it's gonna sit. The motor mount on that side's hitting along with the collector, as well as this header is hitting down where the steering arm comes down. Basically, that's kind of where it's gonna have to sit. At the angle and everything, I gotta really get under the car and look at it to make sure the angle's okay for the differential. I think it's gonna be pretty decent. If we have to, we can adjust the rear end up a little bit. So you want your drive shaft to have basically no bind in your U-joints at all, so those U-joints stay together, unlike the diesel shelled out. If it's sitting where it is right now, I think it's doable. Obviously, if it's sitting like it's, the whole car is sitting up like this, and it's still gonna sit up like that until you actually lower the whole thing down, the front end. So when it's sitting like it's gonna, with all the weight, it's gonna kind of level out per se. So, and it'll look decently level. Really and truthfully, this engine it'll run no matter what. It's gonna, you know, it'll run well, not upside down, but it'll run like this, run like this. I mean, it's just like it's going up a hill all the time if we have it at an angle. I just hate the way it looks. Absolutely despise, you know, if you open the hood and an engine's like that, you know, it looks stupid. We're at the point right now where we really don't have any other option, as much as I hate to say it, because we can't go down any farther or at the widest part possible unless we do a Mustang 2 front suspension, which is absolutely not going to happen. This is what we're dealing with, and this is what we're going to work with, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Other than all that, it fits and looks really good. We're going to have plenty of room for a radiator. We're going to have plenty of room for a turbo. I mean, we're going to have plenty of room for a radiator. Plenty of room for the condenser and everything, the cooler, all that. Got plenty of room on the fenders for all electronic stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna hide it all under the dash, like the electronic stuff under the dash, like we said. We got plenty of room for basically everything. Even the oil filter will come out without too much hassle when we're throwing bearings through the block. We can check for all that shiny stuff. Basically, this is the end of what we've got done. This is the end of my Indiana Jones trip. I was attacked. I was mauled, I ran, but we're still here. See you for part 3.